Hey everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today we're going to do a review on a absolutely fantastic game, and that game would be South Park: The Stick of Truth. Wow, just wow. This was such a good game. We're going to go into why, but before I start, there will be a couple little spoilers, not ridiculous, but you know, if you really don't want to know a ton, I will be saying a few spoilers. Honestly, I'll just get right into the gameplay, which was definitely a lot of fun. This is not a challenging RPG by any means. It is a quote-unquote JRPG. It's like turn-based. It's not, if you're thinking this is an RPG, you know, on the lines of Fallout or Skyrim, definitely not. Anyway, so the gameplay, it plays, the battles play very similar to Super Mario RPG or Paper Mario, so a lot of timed button presses. So, you know, when you are fighting somebody, you'll have to hit a button at a certain time, or as a defense mode, if they're hitting you, they're like, you know, an arrow is about to hit you, a little circle underneath your character will show up, and you'll have to hit like A right away, or X right away, sorry. Basically, so that it was very much like a time thing. You had to be precise. Sometimes it didn't work the greatest. I felt like towards the end of the game I really nailed it, but right away it was like, why isn't this working? I thought I had pressed it, so that was a bit frustrating. But other than that, like, who cares, whatever. It's not really a hard game. It didn't really matter. This game was like beyond outrageous. Everything from like what your attacks were to like potions. I guess we can go into the story a little bit. Basically what it is the kids of South Park are all LARPing. They're just playing Dungeons and Dragons, kind of. It's kind of Cartman versus Kyle. Like, Cartman is sort of the head of the humans, and then Kyle is basically in charge of the elves. So you're the new kid in town. You are a silent protagonist. You don't literally say anything, you're just a silent kid. And they actually play that up. They're like, wow, he doesn't really talk much. Like, it's kind of cute. Yeah, anyway, so you are LARPing. So what is neat about that is, as wacky as South Park can get, it had a realistic charm to it, because it, instead of it being, you know, like an adventure where you go out to save the world, it's literally just Kyle versus Cartman and all the kids. So there's different main South Park characters on each team. So like Stan, for instance, is on Kyle's team. You know, Butters is on Cartman's team. So there's all the different familiar faces that you see, and they'll, you know, you get to go back and forth and check out each team, and the bases of the teams, like the head of there's the elves base is at Kyle's house, the humans base is at Cartman's house in the backyard, and there's like you know, a shop. There's like, you know, there'll be a kid selling stuff. So like potions, for instance, are like energy drinks, like protein shakes, you know, chips, you know, chocolate bars, stuff like that. So I thought that was funny. There's a speed, oh crap, I think it's a speed potion. Basically what it is it's coffee, and then you can use 2 turns. So I thought, I don't know, there's just creative. There are a lot of great stuff. And then throughout the game, in order to gain money, you do get money after battles, but you can sell stuff you collect throughout the game. Just junk is what it's called. So you can sell it and gain, you can sell it basically to a kid who's selling stuff. There's like a homeless guy who sells you stuff too. You can find things all over the place. Either way, it was fantastic. The story is great. It's basically like a South Park movie. So which leads me to go into the graphics, which is not much to say because it literally just looks like the show. South Park graphics aren't exactly like, you know, we're watching Monsters University here or something. South Park graphics are really simple. So with the technology they have today, you can actually use the same graphics used on the show as gameplay. I'm sure tons of you guys have seen all the gameplay shots, images, whatever. It really is the show. You are literally playing the show. It's not like a cutscene is the show. The whole game is the show, which is really the first time this has ever been done. You know, like Ni no Kuni, for instance, looked amazing. It was trying to be like a Studio Ghibli movie. There were real animated Studio Ghibli cutscenes in that, but even then, as great as it looked, it still wasn't animated, right? This one is. This is identical to the show. I can't even believe that they did this. It's fantastic. It made my life. It's so great. Like, little spoiler here. When you do go to Canada, I won't necessarily say why, but when you go to Canada, everything is like sort of 8-bit, 16-bit, and the music is all like MIDI. And they're playing like Blame Canada in the background, and they're playing the O Canada theme, sorry, the O Canada anthem for Canada, and it was just so charming and amazing and hilarious, and the whole game you were laughing. The Canada part, because I am Canadian, made me laugh so hard because, you know, I've always loved the way they depicted Canadians in that. It's just a huge joke, but the fact that you actually got to go to Canada and it was hilarious, you know, like the Bishop of Banff, and it's just ridiculous. So, you know, Princess of Canada, like it was so funny. You know, we got to go to shops there and you couldn't use your own money. You had to use like Canadian gemstones or something. I forget what they were called, but it was just outrageous. It's sad because you know there are going to be people that play it and watch South Park. They're like, oh, I didn't know that about Canada. It's like, oh no. Anyway, so bad, but amazing. I absolutely love what they did with certain stuff like that. It was those extra little steps. There's so many little details in this game that made it just so amazing. As far as like, you know, more stuff with the story, it was absolutely outrageous. So filthy. It was way more than they can ever do in a in a show, in an episode. It was more like what they could do in a movie. And the fact that you were actually playing some of these scenes, I won't say things, but some of them were just like jaw-dropping, like, wow, I can't believe they went there on that one. Not just with language, but with specific things that you do in the game are quite hilarious, and oh my god, they went there kind of stuff. Which, I was laughing the whole time. This game is not long. It's like 12, 13 hours. I think it took me that long. And you're gonna love the entire game. As far as music goes, it's just like South Park. It is identical to the music. If this was a show, I mean, obviously they use the same composer. I didn't look up who it is, who does the music for South Park, but it's obviously the same person. Little nuances, like in the music, like there's, I don't know how to describe this, but there is a little violin thing that they do in South Park episodes, and they did it in the show, and it just brought a huge smile to my face because it just added more to what South Park is. It just made it feel like you were truly playing a South Park, like a really long episode. Like, it was so great. Really great sound effects. There weren't that many themes and like pieces, songs in the game, but the ones that were there were solid and were really good. So I can't complain. It is a 12-hour game. I don't expect, you know, like a huge, you know, Final Fantasy VI soundtrack here. Obviously not. You also don't go a lot of places where there is, you know, you're not traveling around the world around a great map like in a lot of, you know, epic JRPGs. But this one is really just the town of South Park, and so there's not tons of themes here. You'll walk into shops, into stores, and they'll be playing, you know, like you're in the school and they were playing Sexual Harassment Panda, and that made me laugh. So you'll hear different songs you've heard throughout the show. That was great. Every character from the show that you've grown to love or hate is in this game, whether it be somebody's mom or like Mr. Slave or anybody. It was so great. As far as exploring the town of South Park, I really enjoyed that. It was fun to just walk around and people engage with you. It was neat how you made friends in the game, kind of like Facebook, and you could check on them and they'd send you messages, and that's kind of the way that the menu looked like, which was awesome. It was so well written. It was basically like Trey Parker and Matt Stone put so much effort into this, and I'm really glad that the release was delayed because I feel like they just weren't really that happy with it, and it ended up being just a fantastic game. Honestly, this game has become one of my favorites. I will definitely play this again, absolutely. I normally don't say that with JRPGs because they're so long. I'd rather just play a new one and get to something else, but this wasn't that long, and it was just great. There's so many moments that were fantastic. It just really emphasized how much I love South Park. I mean, I'm wearing a Cartman shirt that says "Respect my authority." So yeah, I don't know what else to say besides this game was just great. If you aren't into South Park and you really never got into it, I can understand really not liking this game. But you know, it is a solid RPG. If you're into like dirty crap, you'll like it. But again, this really was for South Park fans. So I'm so glad. This is like something you don't expect them to ever make. It was like a dream come true to see this happen. It's something you don't think will happen ever. You know, one of my favorite shows, you know, ever they made, and then in my favorite genre. So wow, what a great experience. I don't really know what else to say, but just what a fantastic game. If you love the show, you will love this game, even if you don't really like RPGs or JRPGs, because if you're a South Park fan, you're gonna love this game. It was so good. And not every, you know, there were different parts in it that were more like, you know, timed buttons and different things you had to do, or you'd have to hit like, you know, square over and over again or something. It wasn't too heavy on the JRPG. It's not difficult. So if you are frustrated by like the mechanics of JRPGs, don't worry. This is not one of those games. It's not that this is not Shin Megami Tensei or whatever. So don't worry about it. Other than that, I'm just so happy with this game. It's fantastic. So please go and buy this. I know the price of it is a lot for a really, you know, a 12-hour game. Do it. It's well worth the time. Fantastic game. Anyway, guys, definitely pick up Stick of Truth. What an amazing experience. I can't wait for my boyfriend to play it. He's going to love it. Have a good day, guys. See ya.